If you're here, it's because you want to know about the fascinating life of one of Hollywood's most respected actresses. So before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content about your favorite celebrities. Julianne Moore is not just an actress. She is a force of nature who has dominated Hollywood for over 3 decades. At 64 years old, she remains one of the most in-demand performers in the industry, with an estimated net worth of $55 million and a career that seems to have no limits. But the story of how Julianne Smith became the iconic Julianne Moore is much more fascinating than you might imagine. Born on December 3, 1960, in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Julianne grew up in a military family that led her to move constantly during her childhood. Her father, Peter Moore Smith, was a U.S. Army paratrooper who later became a colonel and military judge. Her mother, and love, was a Scottish social worker who had emigrated to the United States in 1952. This combination of military discipline and social sensitivity deeply marked Julianne's personality. What few know is that Julianne lived in more than 23 different places before turning 18. Frankfurt, Germany, Alaska, Georgia, Texas, New York. Each move represented a new adaptation, a new personality to assume to fit in. This nomadic experience not only developed her chameleonic ability as an actress, but also taught her to be independent and resilient from a very young age. Her younger brother, Peter Moore Smith, became a novelist, while her sister Valerie followed a more traditional path. But Julianne always knew her destiny was in the arts. During her high school years, she actively participated in school plays, and it was then that she decided she wanted to be a professional actress. After graduating from high school, Julianne enrolled at Boston University, where she earned her Bachelor of Fine Arts with a specialization in theater in 1983. These were crucial formative years, where she not only perfected her acting technique, but also developed a deep understanding of literature and the arts that would distinguish her throughout her career. The move to New York after college was an act of pure faith. With barely any savings and fierce determination, Julianne immersed herself in the competitive world of off-Broadway theater. Her early years were tough, living in tiny apartments, working multiple jobs to pay the rent while attending auditions. Her big break came in 1985 when she landed a role in the successful soap opera As the World Turns. For the next 3 years, she played the twin sisters Franny and Sabrina Hughes, an acting challenge that allowed her to showcase her versatility from the start. This work not only provided her with economic stability, but also earned her a Daytime Emmy Award in 1988 for Outstanding Young Actress in a Drama Series. The real turning point came in 1993 with Robert Altman's Short Cuts. This ensemble film gave her the opportunity to work alongside a stellar cast and demonstrate that she had the presence and talent for cinema. Her performance, particularly in an intimate scene that became legendary, established her reputation as an actress willing to take risks and fully commit to her characters. What followed was an impressive streak of films that solidified her as one of the best actresses of her generation. Safe, 1995, with Todd Haynes, showcased her ability to portray psychological fragility. Boogie Nights, 1997, demonstrated her comic and dramatic range. Magnolia, 1999, established her as Paul Thomas Anderson's muse. And Far From Heaven, 2002, earned her first Oscar nomination. But it was still Alice, in 2014, that finally brought her the Academy's highest recognition. Her portrayal of a university professor with early-onset Alzheimer's was so authentic and heartbreaking that it was impossible to ignore. The Oscar for Best Actress was the culmination of decades of exceptional and consistent work. As for her personal life, Julianne has maintained an admirable balance between her career and her family. In 1986, during her days on As the World Turns, she met John Gould Rubin, a theater director. They married in 1986, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1995. However, this experience prepared her for the love of her life. In 1996, while filming The Myth of Fingerprints, she met Bart Freundlich, a director 9 years her junior. What began as a professional relationship quickly turned into romance. They married on August 23, 2003, in an intimate ceremony in Rockland County, New York. Together they have 2 children, Caleb Freundlich, born in 1997, and Liv Helen, born in 2002. Julianne has been incredibly protective of her children's privacy, rarely mentioning them in interviews and never exposing them on social media. Caleb has shown interest in music and acting, while Liv seems more inclined towards the visual arts. The family dynamic is fascinating because both Julianne and Bart work in the entertainment industry, but they have managed to maintain schedules that allow them to be present for their children. Bart has directed Julianne on several occasions, including The Myth of Fingerprints, Trust the Man, Wolves, and After the Wedding. This professional collaboration has strengthened their personal relationship. Julianne Moore's net worth of $55 million comes not only from her film performances, but also from smart financial decisions. She has been selective with her projects, prioritizing quality over quantity, which has allowed her to maintain high salaries throughout her career. Her real estate investments have been particularly astute. In 1999, she bought a duplex in Greenwich Village, New York, for $911,500 and sold it in 2002 for $1.95 million, making a considerable profit. She currently lives in an impressive townhouse in Greenwich Village that she acquired for several $1,000,000 and has meticulously renovated. Julianne's property in New York is a perfect reflection of her personality. Elegant, sophisticated, but cozy. The 5-story Victorian house has been renovated to include an impressive library, an art studio for her, and spacious areas for the family to gather. The backyard garden is her personal refuge, where she grows herbs and flowers. In terms of cars, Julianne maintains a relatively low profile. She drives a Tesla Model S for environmental reasons, but also has a Range Rover for family trips and a classic Porsche 911 that she rarely uses but adores. She is not one of those celebrities who collect exotic cars. She prefers functionality and discreet elegance. Her investments go beyond real estate. She has invested in technology, particularly in startups related to education and mental health. She also has a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds managed by conservative financial advisors who prioritize long-term stability over quick gains. A lesser-known facet of Julianne is her love for children's literature. She has written and published several children's books, including Freckle-Faced Strawberry, inspired by her own childhood experiences with freckles and red hair. These books have not only been commercially successful, but have also provided her with an additional source of income and personal satisfaction. Her daily routine when she's not filming is surprisingly normal. She wakes up early, does yoga or Pilates, prepares breakfast for the family when they are home, and dedicates time to reading. She is a voracious reader who can finish several books a week, and this passion for reading has informed many of her career decisions. Julianne is known for her meticulous preparation for each role. For Still Alice, she worked with doctors specializing in Alzheimer's and spent time with patients and families affected by the disease. For Far From Heaven, she studied Douglas Sirk films and read extensively about life in the 1950s. This dedication to research is part of what makes her performances so authentic. A fascinating curiosity about Julianne is her superstition with color. She always wears something green when going to important auditions, a tradition that began in her theater days and that she has maintained throughout her career. She also has the habit of writing a letter to her character before starting to film, a technique that helps her connect emotionally with the role. In 2025, Julianne is in one of the most productive moments of her career. She has just premiered the limited series Sirens in May, and in June she released the thriller Echo Valley alongside Sydney Sweeney on Apple TV+. These projects demonstrate her continued relevance in an industry that often marginalizes older actresses. Sirens has been particularly significant for Julianne because it allows her to explore themes of female aging and personal reinvention, themes that resonate deeply with her personal experience. The series has received exceptional reviews and has reignited conversations about mature talent in Hollywood. Echo Valley represents new territory for her, working on a high-budget streaming production with a co-star from a completely different generation. Her chemistry with Sydney Sweeney has been praised by critics, once again demonstrating her ability to adapt and find new dimensions in her work. But perhaps the most exciting project on the horizon is her collaboration with Pedro Almodovar on The Room Next Door, a film that marks the Spanish director's English-language debut. This film, expected by the end of 2025, could be another defining moment in her career and possibly another contender for major awards. Julianne is also developing projects as an executive producer, a strategic move that gives her more creative and financial control over her work. She has expressed interest in adapting contemporary novels that explore complex female experiences, a niche she feels is underrepresented in Hollywood. Her philanthropy is quiet but consistent. She supports organizations related to Alzheimer's research, artistic education for underprivileged children, and LGBTQ+ rights. She doesn't make a big publicity of her donations, preferring that her impact speaks for itself. On a personal level, Julianne speaks openly about the aging process in Hollywood. At 64, she rejects the pressure of extreme cosmetic procedures and advocates for the natural acceptance of aging. Her mature beauty has become a political statement in an industry obsessed with youth. Her relationship with Bart continues to be solid after more than 20 years together. Both have spoken about how to maintain a creative and personal relationship, something that is not easy in Hollywood. Their secret seems to be mutual respect, constant communication, and the conscious decision to support each other's careers. Julianne's children, now young adults, have grown up with a unique perspective on fame. Caleb, 28, has appeared in some of his stepfather's films but seems more interested in music. Liv, 23, studied art and seems inclined towards art direction or design. One of the most admirable things about Julianne is how she has navigated longevity in an industry known for its volatility. She has avoided scandals, maintained solid professional relationships, and made smart career decisions that have preserved her reputation and relevance. Her legacy is already secured, but it seems she is just beginning her next chapter. With exciting projects on the horizon and wisdom accumulated from decades in the industry, Julianne Moore represents the best of Hollywood: talent, professionalism, personal integrity, and the ability to constantly evolve. At 64, she remains one of the most respected and in-demand actresses of her generation, with a solid net worth, a loving family, and a career that continues to defy expectations. Her story reminds us that true success in Hollywood is not just about fame or money, but about longevity, respect, and the ability to keep growing artistically. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and don't forget to subscribe for more content about your favorite celebrities. And don't miss the next video that appears on your screen right now, where we explore the life of another Hollywood star you'll definitely want to know.